Alright, so now I've loaded up another game, and this is just so I can show you some of the Navy-based combat. Now, Navy combat has been improved tenfold in this game. In the old game, you had to build a bunch of transports to try and get in between two different continents. It took forever. It didn't flow very well, and generally it was a pain in the ass. So now, generally, if you move a unit, you can move it straight from land into a coast like that, and it'll embark onto transport ships. And those transport ships, they can just travel over to the other continent. They are weak. They do have to be protected by military ships, and they can be destroyed if intercepted. But now, just moving your troops in between one continent to another continent is so much easier. Ships can now attack cities and actually cause quite a bit of damage in this game. So as you can see here, I'm getting my ships now to bombard the capital of Berlin. And they'll cause damage. As you can see now, it's gone into the red. And then you can attack with your navy units. So you can move my long swordsman down here and then begin an attack on the city. That was unsuccessful because every time you attack from sea, you get a 50% penalty to your combat value. So it does punish your troops, but if you've bombarded the city enough, you can attack the city directly. And with enough troops, if it's weak enough, you can take it straight up without having to land any troops on the land. And I just find this to be one of the biggest changes and one of the best changes to this Civ. Building a great navy-based fleet just adds to the fun of the combat system that's already there. Now, probably the last thing I want to touch on in Civ 5 is achievements. Now, if you're connecting to Steam, you do have access to Steam achievements, and this is great. It adds heaps of replayability to the game. Every time, since there's no storage to the game, every time you start a game, you can pretty much aim for an achievement and go for that achievement. And these just range from some basic ones with winning with certain races, and other ones to playing on different sized maps, to playing different difficulties, to completing the game in different ways, to building wonders, earning unit promotions, building super cities. There's heaps. I think there's about 100 achievements, and it just keeps you going. You keep wanting to finish a game and unlock another achievement. And it's probably one of the best additions to the game, especially if you're an achievement freak like myself and you want to get all the achievements. It will just keep you going, and it's a great way to see all the game. Civ 5's come a long way from Civ 4 and the previous Civ games. They're going for more of a macro view of your empire. In this Civ, it is the easiest to control a huge large nation that controls half the world. In previous Civ games, it used to take forever to play those sort of games. In this Civ game, it actually rewards you for building an empire to actually stand the test of time. The changes to the combat system with one unit per tile make the game almost seem military focused. It isn't really the case, but because the military combat is so much fun in this game compared to the old game, it can seem that way. The biggest disappointment with the game is probably the bugs. Multiplayer could use some adjustments, and I would say mods. There's already been a huge amount of mods that have been released which do fix a lot of gameplay issues the best they can. This could be the best Civ ever. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Hopefully with patches and some work, maybe an expansion will bring it up to a 9 or a 10 out of 10. But right now I'd give the game about an 8. Thanks for listening.